Call to order the Monday, June 9th version of the Ellettsville Town Council. Marshall, will do the prayer?
Our Heavenly Father, once again, we come before you and we ask again for your blessings. We ask you to lead and guide us through these meetings. And just be with us in all ways and the decisions we make for our employees. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call whenever you're ready.
Scott Oldham.
Here.
Dan Swafford.
Here.
Billy Ellis.
Here.
Trevor Sager.
Here.
Pamela Samples.
Here.
Approval of minutes for the regular meeting, May 27th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Action to pay accounts payable vouchers and payroll vouchers.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? There are no resolutions this evening, nor are there ordinances on first reading. The first ordinance on second reading this evening is amended ordinance 2025-13 to set fees for the rental of the Ellettsville Heritage Center.
At the last town council meeting, the council members had some suggested changes that they asked me to make, and hopefully I've now made all of those in the ordinance. It now reads that the fee is going to be $125 per day or part of a day for individuals who reside within the corporate limits of the town, $250 for those who reside without the corporate limits. The renters have the option of either paying a $500 damage deposit or offering a copy of a certificate of insurance for event coverage, which would cover the town, and fee waivers based on need shall be considered by the park board.
Okay, questions, comments from council? Questions or comments from the public?
I believe you said reside within the town. What if you have a business in the town, but you don't reside within the town? Is that out?
That's the way this reads, it would be, but if the council wants to change that, that's fine.
Well, I'm just thinking there are a lot of businesses who probably have owners who don't live in town, but would like to be part of the community.
It's a valid point. May I suggest the term resides or owns property within the town?
I'm good with that, or letting the parks or determine.
Either way. Further questions from council?
So is there are we changing it to just let the park board decide, or?
The problem with doing that, guys, without giving them guidance, they're gonna think we intend for them to stick with the original wording.
I'm okay either way we're changing it. I mean, you
So
bring up
just, yeah,
Just amend it,
just amend it as
resides or owns
owns
property within.
within, yeah. You good with that, Dan?
are we able to pass it as amended
Yes, because I would consider that a minor amendment.
or vote on it as amendment, I should
Yes.
say?
Is there any other public comment, either in council chambers or online? Seeing none, we're back to the council for either discussion or action.
Make a motion to approve the amended ordinance 2025-13 to set fees for the rental of the Ellettsville Heritage Center.
Second.
Motion is second, roll call, please.
Scott Oldham.
Yes.
Dan Swafford.
Yes.
Billy Ellis.
Yes.
Trevor Sager.
Yes.
Pam Samples.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next ordinance this evening is 2025-14, recertifying the current legislative body districts of the town of Ellettsville, Indiana.
As we discussed at the last meeting, all towns have to have their districts either recertified or redrawn by the end of this month, and the statute allows for recertification if, as of the last census, the population did not change, and therefore the ward lines or the district lines did not change. So I had prepared a certification for the council to approve, simply saying that the wards or the districts haven't changed, and the town just wishes to recertify the current legislative body districts.
Okay. Questions, comments from council?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
So we've had all these new additions, so it's not gonna affect it, like we recertify it. Does that include any of all these new houses built, additions or whatever?
No, because when they come in, it's made it clear what district and ward they're in, correct?
You're basing it, yes, and you're basing it off the last census. So I suspect that when the next census comes around, the town will have to do some redrawing of the districts to account for population growth. But as I recall, as of the last census, the town's population had not increased that much. So,
And the other question, I don't know if I brought it up last time, or is we had to be in line with census blocks. And Denise, I found GIS, the county did not have census blocks in there, but I did get them to upload them to the voter portal, and we can overlay the districts, the council districts. Would you have time between now and the next town council meeting just to confirm our current wards are all in the right census blocks?
Yes, if I have access to your voter.
You do, yeah, it's the public one. I can get you the link.
Okay.
So,
if it helps, I have an email from the clerk's office stating that our ordinance, as I prepared it, was fine on their end, unless you just wanted to.
if they say it's okay on their end, and that would prevent us from somebody saying you're not, I mean, I glanced at it and it looked like they were, to be honest with you, it looked like we were still fine. But, I mean, I don't know. I got census blocks from a third party, and they're all over the place, but then I had Monroe County do the certified census blocks, and they look like they match. So, I mean, I'm okay passing it. If you got that from the clerk's office.
do.
I'm okay tonight.
Maybe this is a question for you, William, but Darla, if you know the answer, please. So what happens if we have an annexation that all of a sudden during the middle of the next 5 years makes us very lopsided? Can we redistrict on our own, petition the state to redistrict, or we just let
I
wait?
think you can redistrict anytime you want to,
Okay.
actually.
All right. That answers that
You're
question.
just required to do it after every census.
Sure.
Right.
Any further questions from council or comments? Anything from the public? Either online or in the gallery? Seeing none, we're back to the council.
Do we want to table it so Denise can have time to double check, or do you guys think the clerk's letter is good enough to?
I would think the clerk's letter, since
I
it's
would too.
certifying authority.
I will still get you that link, Denise, so for future reference, because they hadn't uploaded them before, so it makes it a lot easier for anybody.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Is there a motion concerning this ordinance?
I move approval of ordinance 2025-14 recertifying the current legislative body districts of the town of Ellettsville.
Second.
Motion is second. Whenever you're ready for roll call.
Scott Oldham,
Yes.
Dennis Swafford,
Yes.
William Ellis,
Yes.
Trevor Sager,
Yes.
Pam Samples. Yes. Motion carries.
Next ordinance is 2025-15 to adopt the Town of Ellettsville Construction Standards and Specifications Manual for roadways.
This was discussed at the last town council meeting as well. These are going to be posted, if the council passes them, they're going to be posted on either the town's website or the Plan Commission website or both. And there are various points throughout the UDO that make reference to these construction standards and specifications. The one thing I did mention at the last meeting, that in the final manual copy, if you pass it, is on page 3, under section 3.0. There's a reference to chapter 761, stormwater management, and it should say chapter 152, because the council passed that last November, I believe,
Okay.
the new stormwater ordinance.
Okay, so for procedural question here, if we move to pass this, does it need to be passed as written, or should we pass it
Pass it as amended.
as amended? Okay. Other questions from council? From the public? Seeing none, back to council.
I move that we pass ordinance 2025-15 to adopt the Town of Ellettsville Construction Standards and Specification Manual for roadways.
Second.
Motion and second?
Scott Owen,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
William Ellis,
Yes.
Trevor Sager,
Yes.
Pam Samples,
Yes.
motion carries.
There is no old business this evening. Under new business, the first item is reappointment of the Ellettsville Building Corporation board members.
The 3 board members, Jack Neal, Brandon Wright, and Carly Woodruff, are all up for reappointment. According to the bylaws, the Ellettsville Building Corporation board members are supposed to serve 3 years. And I would ask the town council to reappoint all 3 of them. I made contact with all 3 of them, and all 3 of them are willing to continue serving.
Darla, I believe Carly Woodruff has moved out of the county. Did she say anything like that in her?
I will check with her on that. She did not mention that, but I will check with her
Okay.
before you reappoint her. She didn't say anything.
Should we go ahead and just appoint the 2?
Yes,
Okay.
please, and I will get with her.
And I'm sorry again, Darla, the names on the other 2, I apologize.
Jack Neal and Brandon Wright.
Okay. Any more comments from council? I will ask on the public for this and come back to council. Can I have the pen?
I don't think,
I think you need to wait.
no.
I make a motion to reappoint Ellettsville Building Corporation board members Jack Neal and Brandon Wright.
Second.
Motion's a second. Roll call, please.
Scott Oldham,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
William Ellis,
Yes.
Trevor Sager,
Yes.
Pam Samples,
Yes.
motion carries.
Next on the agenda is the Richland Township Lease Termination Agreement.
As you are aware, the town has a lease agreement with the township to rent the property on Park Street for 25 years, I believe. In any event, the town is going to vacate that property fairly soon, and the Richland Township trustee, attorney Eric Cook, prepared the lease termination agreement for council's consideration. And essentially, it says the town will vacate the premises on or before July 1st and surrender the premises to the township trustee at that time.
Okay, questions from council? Anything from the public? Back to council.
Okay, I make a motion to approve Richland Township lease termination agreement.
Second.
Motion second. Roll call, please.
Scott Oldham,
Yes.
Dan Swafford,
Yes.
William Ellis,
Yes.
Trevor Sager,
Yes.
Pam Samples,
Yes.
motion carries.
Now we're going to move to privilege of the floor. Anyone having business for the council not part of our normal agenda?
Carl Thurman from Thurman Body Shop and resident of downtown Ellettsville. I'm here tonight to see when the second and third phase of the flood mediation will begin. The first phase is complete, but still flooding. Got water in there over the weekend, and then less than 2 months earlier, on April 4th, there was significant flooding then too. So what has been done has helped, but it's not enough. There's still a lot of room to finish.
Mike, I mean, this is not normally question and answer session, but this is something.
Yeah, we talked about it at the RDC meeting. And, all along when we had Christopher Burke come in and do a study of flood mitigation, which no matter what we do, it'll always be flood mitigation. We'll never tame Mother Nature. It always seems to come up with a new way to put rain on top of us. But as Carl said, the first project, I think, has been successful in mitigating some of the storms that might have posed problems in the past. So one of the studies, one of the parts of the study, actually phase 2, was to reconstruct the McNeely Street Bridge. It's just to the east of Matthews Drive. And we believe, our experts, as well as Christopher Burke, they did the study, and they're the experts and the engineers. And we believe that if we was to put 2 large storm culverts on the north side of the bridge or on the Matthews Drive side of the bridge, that it would alleviate some of the flooding. We think that when the bridge was originally installed, if you remember, if you're an old timer, like a couple of us are, you remember the road from Matthews or the road on McNeely from Matthews, when it approached the bridge, it used to be several feet lower than when you was actually on the bridge. And I heard about a couple of people that actually could jump their motorcycle across the bridge because it had a ramp effect. So just for, and so nowadays, sometimes they build bridges to have that feature, so when the water starts backing up, the road isn't a dam, it just goes over the road and the road floods and the water just keeps moving. So I've talked to a couple of people that was around when that bridge was reconstructed, and the town supposedly, and I'm looking for the documents now, noted that would create a backup and maybe not even pass muster on today's standards. And so we're thinking those storm boxes would recreate that ability for the water to just go around the bridge and go on down the stream. So, I mean, for us as a town, you know, our next move, if we're going to make one, is to have the second phase, to have plans and further study that would tell us what we would need to do next, which is the box culverts, and give us an approximate how much it costs.
But we can't do anything with the bridge because that's the county's, is it not?
Well, that is true, but I think Kip and I met with them a few years ago and asked about getting help to take care of that, and at that time, they didn't think they could. I mean, they just weren't interested in that. So it's a project that needs to be addressed, and now that we've made step 1, step 2 logically is to go take care of that. And so I'm scheduled to call their highway department, and I'll make that request again. And in the meantime, we need to decide if no matter how we approach it, we need to be able to say how much it's going to cost and exactly what we're going to do. So we might have to spend some money on some engineering. And I'll have them re-quote. They originally give us a price of, I think it was like 35 grand, but I'll have them re-quote what it'd take to put us in a place where we could actually maybe bid out a project.
Is there anything that we have left that we have not done from phase 1 that might help with any of this mitigation?
Nothing. Okay. I mean, it's complete, and I mean, between Carl and the rest of the town crews, I mean, every rain event, we've been there for every rain event since it was completed, and we know what's going to happen depending on the rain, and the first phase really did help, but it's a mitigation project. It's not, you can't say you're going to cure the flooding. Everybody always needs to know that.
Okay. So there's the answer as much as we have it. We may need you to help address it with the county as well if we can't go through there, but they're going to meet with them and we'll see what we can do further.
Okay. So, you know, there's a lot of economic growth happening downtown, but it's going to remain stagnant as long as.
Right, but if we can't effort anything that we don't own. And if that's the stumbling block that we don't own, we can't do anything with it until we get permission.
So it's the So it's on the county.
The county owns the bridge. The
Okay,
county governs the bridge. The county governs what can happen with the bridge.
all right. So that's phase two, and then do we have to have phase two complete before phase three?
If phase two is the choke point from what he's saying, I'm assuming phase three wouldn't do as much good.
I actually don't have the answer to that. I'll have to look.
Okay.
But as I understood it the last time, and sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, Carl, wasn't phase three part of the county's version of the creek as well? Cleaning that out and opening it?
I'd have to read it again. I mean, I've been pretty much focused on
Okay.
phase two.
So it's a county issue at this point.
Potentially. Don't want to throw it all back on the doorstep until we know more, but that's where we're at right now.
We're going to approach it like it's the town's duty to get to the point where we know who's going to do what. And if we hit a stumbling block, then I'll report back.
All right, thank you for your help.
Thank you. Anyone else having business or any privilege of the floor?
I guess I'm right on time. Name's Chad Stevens. And I hear Mr. Thurman was talking about the flood. Carl may get hit hard. I get hit harder. I'll back up a little bit. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I wasn't born here, but I was raised here from 5 years old. First house on the right in Ridge Springs, grew up there. I went to school here. First through fifth down at what's now Seven Oaks. Graduated here. My kids went to school here. I've had business here after working with my dad for 20 years. And I've seen a lot happen down at the corner of Matthews and McNeely when it comes to flooding. I fought them for years. Usually don't say much, but after watching a dozen of my guys work their butts off cleaning up after this flood from early Sunday morning, I just can't take it no more. I got to come up and say something. So I'm here to say something about, in 2017, you all had a report built by DNR. And as of now, we only have like one section of this done. And we all should know that the McNeely Street Bridge is the biggest culprit in flooding in Ellettsville. In this report, it said it did need some more study, but in this report, it did say something about putting culverts at McNeely Street Bridge. I understand that Ellettsville has no authority over McNeely Street, but something's got to be done. I took on 21 inches of water early Sunday morning with the same amount of rain that fell Thursday morning, 3.5 inches, and it didn't flood down there. But a Sunday morning, I couldn't get down there to fight it fast enough. And I took on 21 inches of water. Toolboxes, tools, equipment. And I firmly believe that these culverts that should be put, a new bridge would be great, but I firmly believe that these culverts put in McNeely Street would have most likely mitigated every bit of that water from flooding in there. 15 minutes from when I checked the cameras and everything was okay. By the time I got there and I had 6 inches of water in the building, I couldn't pick up stuff fast enough. And it was 21 inches, 2.5 blocks deep. All day. I couldn't even go down there yesterday and work on it. I was just sick of my stomach. So today, a dozen people worked on it all day, and it's still not done. It's still not clean. All day. Tools lost, and morale's down, and I'm not happy. So I'd like to see something done, whatever force we can put behind getting these culverts in on McNeely Street, because that will help this flooding, no doubt. I have land on both sides of that creek, and I would be willing and very willing to remove a lot of the fill that's on the land east of Jack's Defeat to help mitigate some of that and get direction into those culverts. So just wanted to come up here and say my piece about getting that, getting pressure. Like I said, I don't know where we stand with what can be done with Monroe County, but I would appreciate all the effort we could pushing forward to getting those culverts put in, because I am tired of seeing water. I mean, I would love to say, and I'm sure Carl's under the same, just, hey, go buy more land and higher ground, but it's not that easy. Very limited about I need to be where I'm at, and I love being in Ellettsville. Like I said, I grew up here, went to school here. I've owned all my businesses here. And I really want to stay here. So there's a limited amount of land in Ellettsville to run my kind of business. And not only is it expensive to buy, and interest rates and everything else, like it's just hard to do that. So staying where I'm at, I hope I can. And I hope, certainly get some help and get this pushed through, whatever it takes. Like I'm here. I want to get these culverts put in and see what it does, because it's a lot of water. I took 40 inches on in April, 2 months ago. Now, luckily that I had warning and was able to pack everything up in a trailer. And all I lost was a roll of toilet paper and a day's worth of cleaning and scraping, and we were back in business. No warning with this one. And by the time I got down there, it's been a rough day. So
We'll let them see where they can get with the county. I don't want to just tell you it's the county's problem, because we're going to try and effort it through. But at some point, we may need your help and Mr. Thurman's help with the county to address it with them and see where we can go, because legally, we can't touch the bridge. We know that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a question that we don't disagree with you at all. It's how do we get a yes from a current no?
yeah, I don't think it's anywhere here. I really don't.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
the
but-
mitigation, this report talks about things, and they're saying it's a report, and there's recommendations in there, but and y'all are trying. Like I see it, but that part right there, you got my full whatever support I need.
Mr. Thurman brings up a very good point, where a lot of people are investing a lot of money in Ellettsville right now, and we want that to continue. So we have another government at this point in time kind of stopping that up.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to see what we can do with that.
Yeah, and like I said, with land on both sides, that bend right there is I'm losing about a foot to 2 foot of land with every flood. It just keeps eating the bank out and falling in. So I got an issue there, but like I said, I own land all the way from the train depot all the way to McNeely, and from Jack's Defeat to your railroad trail.
Right.
So there's a huge amount of dirt that can be moved out of there with the right approvals, but it still gets us to McNeely Street.
Right.
And like I said, I'll do whatever I can.
You can push as much water as you want, but once we get to McNeely, it only goes under the road so fast.
It goes to my shop, and
Right.
yeah. So,
They're working on it. As soon as
All
they
right.
get an answer, we'll get back with you.
all right, thank you.
Call scheduled with Monroe County, right?
Pardon?
You had said you have a call scheduled with Monroe County, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else having business for the council?
Good evening, my name is Jason Barrett. I'm a resident of here in Bloomington technically, but on the edge of Ellettsville. Ironically, I'm not talking about needing mitigation help from the flood. I bought a business into the flood, so hopefully trying to move our economics along in Ellettsville. Try to keep this short. First of all, thank you guys for having this forum to, like, people like me come up and speak their piece about things that may be bothering them or challenging with their businesses. Little history, I bought a company called Floor Coverings International 4 years ago. We were over in Bloomington, around Westplex, and decided to buy the couple properties down on Temperance last July, and come and try to remodel it and sort of put our footprint here. My co-owner is my wife. Some of you know her. She works in the school system. 3 kids in the school. I'm not from here. I've been here 7 years, but we're deeply rooted and committed to being Ellettsville. We've got a 4-year-old, so we're going to be here at least another 14 years. But tonight, I just wanted to bring up a situation that that I'm in with some fines that were levied against my business. And I've sent this to Scott and to Mike Farmer so they could read it ahead of time. And I don't want to get into every specific detail unless we need to, but there were 3 different fines.
Jason, before you go on, let me ask one question.
Yeah.
Okay? And I learned this right before the meeting, so I apologize. Darley, he's here to appeal a fine, but does that not go before the BZA first before it gets to us?
Oh,
Before the Board of Zoning Appeals.
okay.
Before it comes to us? You're welcome to tell us what's going on.
No,
but I don't want to put
whatever
you
the
through that
process is,
cycle and then refer you right back to BZA before you come back.
That's fine. So a different time and place.
Yes.
And actually, if it goes before the Board of Zoning Appeals and he's not happy with that decision, it gets appealed to the local circuit court.
Okay.
Okay.
So we are not your venue, unfortunately. I apologize. I didn't learn that until right before the meeting.
That's quite all right. I appreciate your guys' time and have a good meeting, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else having business for the council not part of our normal agenda? Anyone online? Seeing none. We'll move on now to supervisor comments, beginning with the town manager.
Okay, well, the first order of business is to talk about June 23rd. We've started moving from the properties on Park Street where the street department is, and the properties on Matthews where the utilities people are. We're moving out of those old, nasty, rotting, falling down buildings, and we're actually going to be able to provide our workforce a place to work out of that they can be proud of, and it'll be a lot safer and cleaner. Anyway, with that said, we've started the process to move. First thing I'd say is the utility office is closed for the next 2 days while we make the move. And then I also want to let everybody know so they can put it on their calendar. June 23rd, we're going to have an open house and a ribbon cutting. It'll be from 3 to 6, which with the ribbon cutting about 3:30. We'll have some comments and the ribbon cutting itself. There'll be light snacks and refreshments, and we'll be able to show where we're going to be living for the next 20 or 30 years at least. And give tours. It's a really nice building. It adds to the campus where we already have the town hall and the police department, and so and our parks. And so I'd like for everybody to come if they can, and we'll be getting a hold of you individually to talk about how we process the event.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, we've talking about the flooding, and there's 2 things going on, that make the flooding bad in Ellettsville. We're down near the creek, and that's where everything floods. And this year, we have had rains of 5 inches, and then that was April 5th or 4th. And then recently, Thursday night, we had a 3.5-inch rain or a 4-inch rain. And then Sunday morning, we got surprised with a 2-inch rain that was in about 40 minutes. So even this morning, we had a 0.6 tenths of an inch of rain. So we've really been taking it hard. It shows the weakness in our system, storm system, and there's still a lot of mitigation to be done to maybe to lend ourselves to these guys' problems. So I hate it. We're always out there. There's not much we can do when it's raining. We try to be out there in force. Kip's always out there before I am. I try to be out there every night to try to help when we talk to the engineer, so we know what we're talking about and how the water runs. And I don't know how helpful that is, but I hate it. It's killing me. I hate it. That's all I got.
If I can ask a question, how did the plant fare during this? I mean, they're always the sewer water treatment plant, because I know we always have I&I coming from umpteen systems.
We continue to have the same problems we've always had. We go to, all 4 pumps are on. Had a couple local incidents that caused us some problems that were because of new construction, but we got them rectified right away. But we still have photos. Actually met with Eastern Wrestling today and continue to discuss that we really need to start diving deep into our I&I issues, because it kind of used to be this way, it's pretty much went to this way. So we continue with our growth in our old piping system to, I mean, I was actually out this morning walking manholes with the crew, trying to figure out where we need to work next. But the Eastern seems to be on board. I showed them some pictures of some manholes and they were going to get right on it.
Kind of was dovetailing with that. Unfortunately, the people who've spoken tonight and some that haven't clearly have an issue with water. We know that. But I think the general public says, oh, those are limited to whatever. They're not, because they impact everybody as they go to the plant. And I don't think most people realize the staggering amount of water that goes through that plant and through our pipes every day. And then you increase it to, what did you tell me, millions of gallons a minute, at certain points during these heavy rains. It's just unfathomable.
We go from a normal flow of 1 million, it's about what our town uses during normal fit of the 2.3 the plant has. And luckily they built that plant with a peak of 10 million. And currently we are meeting that 10 million. I mean, we're getting to the point where we need to talk about how are we really going to mitigate what we're using up in our capacity. So things that we're currently working on, just haven't brought them to the board.
Sure.
Jeff, excuse my English, what's this I&I mean?
Excuse me?
What does I&I mean?
Inflow and infiltration. Inflow is a direct hole or a gaping hole in the sewer system that we don't know about. And I&I is, infiltration is the lots of cracks and breaks and laterals and stuff like that. And when you add it all up, it's a lot of water.
Gotcha.
And what's crazy is it goes down about as fast as it comes up. I mean, it takes about a day and a half for it to get back to normal, so.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. Anything else? Mike, anything else? Chief?
No, sir.
Jeff, back to you.
Will you still be here 30 years from now when we move again?
I will be. Just out of spite.
I have nothing.
Okay. Chief?
Remind everybody that the fireworks this year will be on July 5th. Of course, there'll be food trucks up there starting around 5. The fireworks are at dusk, around 10 p.m. And the fireworks are fully funded by donations. And if you're on social media and you go to the Ellettsville Fire Department Facebook page, you can make donations through that link also.
That's it.
He said that's it.
July 6th.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
In about March, town council mentioned something about the census and our current population. So I contacted the Census Bureau about a boundary update, filled their required paperwork out. They sent me the maps. And on May 30th, I provided an update adding 21 streets and 8 parcels. So this gives them time to get everything in line for the next census. And their cutoff date was January 1st, 2025, for me to add those.
Fantastic job on that, Denise.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Anything from the clerk's office?
Mr. President?
Sir.
I would offer one more thing. So we're doing the 10-week concert series.
Yes.
If you haven't been down there yet, it's went well, and the crowds keep getting bigger. I don't know what happened Saturday. I didn't get to go, but I know they had to move it in because it was raining and there was a storm coming. But I highly recommend you check it out. It's kid-friendly. It's easy in, easy out. And it's a really good time, and there's plenty of food trucks, so everybody should go at least once. Thanks.
Okay, moving now to council comments.
The only thing I have to say is that, do we have in the back of our mind plans for the 250th anniversary next year of the country? So I don't know what it's called, not bicentennial, but I'm sure there's a name for it. Just if we don't, maybe just a thought.
It's a good thought, but I mean, I'll be at my house if you want to come over. But yeah, maybe we should, and I would take a lead from the board of what they think we should do. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I know in the bicentennial, and showing my age here, I remember in the town of Speedway where I lived at the time, they had, on their main streets, they had flags, like where we have the ones from the school now, just American flags both ways, everyone. They even painted their fire hydrants red, white, and blue. I mean, little things like that really, and if we're having a concert series with, and if that continues, and I think that would be great. Just something to think about.
We've got plenty of hydrants that need painted. Maybe we could, I mean, you know.
I'll volunteer to help do some of them.
Yeah. So, well, I guess we need to start talking about it. I might even grow a beard. And so, but anyway, yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah, we got time.
I hadn't even thought about it.
I didn't want to bring it up in like February and say, what are we doing? Yeah, we did a great job being prepared for the eclipse. And I'm just kind of the same. Yeah. We did, though. We were on point.
We did.
We apparently scared everybody away.
I didn't have to wait in line too long for my Diet Coke at McDonald's, so it was all good.
Yeah, well, I'm all about being patriotic, so yeah, we should work on that. I just hadn't thought about it. I mean, try to make sure it doesn't rain that day.
I understand.
Any other council comments?
None.
Let's have a look at it.
We're good? Seeing no further business for the council, we're adjourned.